Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well and having a wonderful new moon manifestation. I pray that you're sowing seeds that are in your highest benefit. Now, I want to get on here and talk a little bit about herbal ethics, okay? Using ethics when dealing in herbalism, no matter what system you're using. If you're more so into Western healing or Ayurveda and Eastern healing, it's all the same. It's not all the same. The ethics that I'm going to be speaking of and pertaining to today is still going to apply. Now, recently, I've been experimenting with a lot of different herbs. I've recently made tablets with maca root, blessed thistle, and horny goat root, right? Now, I want to talk about the importance of being very careful where you buy your herb from and where you're getting your supply from. Now, I got mine from, online store is, they're really popular, really big, and is really great, right? But I've started to change my mind about where I'm going to be further sourcing my herbs from, and I'd prefer it be more local to me for these specific reasons. One, you don't know the ethics of which they're being manufactured and how they're being excavated, right? All of these herbs and plant-based medicines that we use is coming from a root element, and these elements are connected with elemental spirits. Now, you are not going to get the highest benefit of a herb or a root if you are not giving back in some way, shape, or form. If you are not giving offering, if you're just taking and the people of that land are not receiving due justice, if they're working for less than minimum wage and not able to feed their families or are impoverished. For example, maca root are they're grown by people who live in high altitudes and mountains in the Peru. And I've recently watched a documentary about this. This one guy who goes there and he buys his maca. He does what he can to make sure that it's a very fair and equal exchange, and I respect that. But not everyone is doing that, and in a lot of places where they're growing these herbs that benefits us so much and does wonders for the body, the people that are actually connecting with those elements and working and tilling those grounds, they're not receiving the benefits, the people of the land. Okay, especially if it's being mass produced like sea moss and stuff like that. Whatever's being grown near you locally, that is what you need. Let me give you an example of this, right? So I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, and upon moving to the West Coast, I received autoimmune disease on my left arm, vitiligo, right? And it's an imbalance. If you know anything about Ayurveda, it's an imbalance of pitta. It's really an imbalance of all of the doshas, but mainly fire, because I'm vata. I rule, air and ether, or that's the element that's most prevalent within me in my makeup as a person, characteristic wise, body shape, type. I'm more so air and ether, and then when there's certain imbalances, so what does that rule, right? That rules everything that consists of air. That's the gases within your body, that's being able to release toxins, communication from one cell to another. It also rules the nervous system And I have an autoimmune disease that affects my nervous system, but it's also an imbalance of pizza, the fire element within my system. Okay, this speaks to, and I'm telling on myself a little bit, but this speaks to buildup of emotion, not properly excreting and doing away with emotions that no longer serve me, holding on to things. There's is an imbalance with between the water and fire, as well as the air. One affects the other, like a domino effect. But okay, so let's go back to what happened recently. So I took these herbs, right? I made capsules. I made maca root, blessed thistle, and maca root, blessed thistle, and horny goat root. So I'm in the house, right? Because I homeschool my kids. So I'm doing school and stuff like that. And it was a whole bunch of stuff that I needed to get completed that day. And, I had to cook. I didn't have everything that I needed for specifically what I wanted to make. And I had, I'm doing backflips in my mind because is a certain amount of goals that I set for myself for that day, things that I needed to complete. And I was noticing that the way in which I wanted to complete things in my day and in my home was at was completely disconnected with what it is I was doing in my headspace, in my mind. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about things that I need to do, just not physically, but like setting new goals in my mind and stuff. And I was just off. Like, I was angry, I was horny, I was all over the fucking place. Like, it didn't make sense, right? And if you're gonna use that specific combination, you need to be doing something like working out, running, doing something where you're physically active, because now these elements are like, when you take something and then you watch yourself and then you see how it affects you, like, that's what's happening on a spiritual level as well. So I'll use the example of, like, say, the maca and the blessed thistle. Maca is a root that's grown in the mountains at very high altitudes of like 5,000 meters or something like that above seawater. Okay, that's high in the mountains. They worship and give reverence to Apu, okay, and a air spirit. All right, blessed thistle grows in the woods, in I think the rainforest or something like that. Grows in the woods. Okay, so that's you're dealing with earth energy. Okay, and then I when I'm watching myself and realizing what's going on, is like I'm having a battle with my mind and what I want to do, in 3D and the physical right here, right now. So these two spirits are warring within me right now. Like, they're raging, they're warring, and then you add in the fight, the whole pita imbalance thing, and it's just like, hey, for one, you have to, when you're taking these herbs and stuff, like, you're not just taking on physical things, you're taking on spirits, and you have to make sure that the spirits that's in you, or your spirit, is in a balanced place to receive whatever it is that you're taking in. Now, the purpose and intention that I used to take that herb was because I felt like I was I was PMSing and stuff like that. I had a lot that I wanted to get done, so I wanted to do it all, but I didn't reconcile my individual self first before I decided to take something outside of me. And then on top of that, I don't know the conditions of which the herbs that I bought were excavated from, where it was bought from. I don't know how they're treating their workers. I don't know if the people are getting compensated properly. I don't know if they give offering, if they do rituals to the spirits who rule these elements. I don't know any of those things. So it's all that combined that led me to truly, feel like when you're going to use herbs and stuff like that, of course, it's best to grow your own. Of course, But not everyone knows how to do that, or is a learning curve, and you have to learn how to do that. You have to work your way up to do that. Different busy lifestyles. But at least if you're not going to grow your own herbs, buy locally. Buy locally from places who have farms that you can actually go and visit and see how things are done and what's going on. What's happening with the land? What's happening, with the people working there? Who are the people that work there? And you need to be involved in that process, or at least know someone who is, and build a level of trust with them, or be able to see something that shows you that things are being done in a way that's righteous and that has integrity and respect for the elements. Because if there's no respect for the elements and for the mother, okay, that reaction within you're not going to receive the highest benefits of the herbs and of the roots. Okay, so just make sure that everything is done with integrity, and don't just buy from all these different places. Really do your research. That's something that I kind of learned the hard way. And it could, and not to say that I got a bad batch because they're not doing things the right way, but it's like, if I was to get something more local to me, like for example, okay, I have a pizza imbalance, right, dealing with my vitiligo. That's fire. So I need to take things that are more so ginger, turmeric, and stuff like that, which I do, right? I do every day. And these are things that are grown locally, like around me. These are things that we have access to with no problem. They grow here fine, and they don't necessarily have to come to, if it's not coming from Arizona per se, it's coming from Mexico. So it's neighboring, is right there. And then when, like, my imbalance with the element per se is the sun. And there's certain practices that I know that has helped me with that, but it's an imbalance with the masculine aspect within me, imbalance with my dad, imbalance with the sun. So it's like, you're coming to the desert. It's like, bitch, you're not about to pull up here and you at war with me. Like, I've noticed that I've had to really work on that aspect within myself and develop that masculine aspect within myself, in every aspect of my life, and when there is an imbalance, like, you're gonna see it, and it will behoove me to get things that are of the sun and use and take on herbs and roots that are of the sun locally, because then I'm receiving the downloads and the information that's specific to my geographical location. That way I'm more in tune with the atmosphere around me, with the earth and the air and everything, and the water and ether and everything around me. Okay, because I'm here. We're here. These are the spirits that's here. And then on top of it, make sure you're giving back. It's not enough to just give back with your money. Do a ritual. Give thanks. Feed the animals. Feed the fucking squirrels or some shit. There's no squirrels here. I've never seen a squirrel in Arizona yet. I haven't seen one here yet. That's kind of weird to me. I mean, I know I'm in a desert, but it's just weird to me that I don't see squirrels. But staying on topic, make sure you give back, and make sure everything is done with integrity, even when dealing with herbs and roots, because you're dealing with the elements. These elements, and then as without, so within. So whatever's happened with them on the outside, you're going to see a manifestation of it within. So it would behoove you to really, like, do shit the right way. That was the point of this. Don't take shortcuts. Do shit the right way. I'll see y'all.